Somewhere in ancient Rome, a man is walking through the streets with a jar. His entire job? Collecting human urine, and people paid him for it. That's not even close to the strangest job in this video. Today we're covering the ancient professions history class never taught you. The ones so bizarre, so oddly specific, that they sound made up but they're not. Before we get into it, every job on this list was real, documented, and in most cases essential to how these ancient societies functioned. Some paid well, some got you killed. One of them, you were literally born into and could never leave. Let's start with the least disgusting one and work our way down. Job number 8, the vomitorium attendant. Ancient Rome. Contrary to the myth, vomitoriums weren't rooms where Romans threw up after eating too much. That's a common misconception. But wealthy Roman households did employ servants specifically to assist at banquets, and part of that job, uncomfortably, involved managing guests who overindulged. It was considered a low-status but necessary role, proof that even 2,000 years ago, somebody had to deal with the cleanup after a party got out of hand. Job number 7, urine collector. Ancient Rome. Back to our cold open. Roman urine wasn't waste, it was a commodity. It contained ammonia, which was essential for tanning leather, whitening togas, even brushing teeth. Yes, really. Collectors would place public jars on street corners and when they filled up, haul them off to be sold. The Emperor Vespasian even taxed the trade, which is where we get the phrase, money doesn't stink. Job number 6, groom of the stool, Tudor England. This one sounds like a punishment. It was actually one of the most coveted positions in the English royal court. The groom of the stool's job was to assist the king with his bathroom needs. Literally. But because this put them in daily, private, unsupervised contact with the monarch, the role evolved into one of the most politically powerful positions in the palace. Whoever held it had the king's ear like no one else. People petitioned for years to get this job. That's how valuable proximity to power was. Job number 5, resurrectionist, 18th to 19th century Britain. Medical schools needed cadavers to teach anatomy. The law barely provided any legally, so a black market profession emerged, body snatchers, politely called resurrectionists, who dug up freshly buried corpses at night and sold them to universities. Families got so desperate to stop this that some paid for iron cages, called mort safes, to be built over graves. It's one of the few ancient adjacent jobs that directly shaped modern medical ethics laws. Job number 4, plague doctor, medieval/Renaissance Europe. The iconic beak mask everyone recognizes wasn't for intimidation. It was 17th century PPE. Doctors filled the beak with dried herbs and flowers, believing bad smells, miasma, spread disease. Most weren't formally trained physicians. Many were essentially contracted by towns out of desperation, paid to treat the sick when no one else would. Survival rates for the doctors themselves were grim, but demand for the job never stopped. Job number 3, whipping boy, Renaissance European royal courts. Princes were considered too important to physically punish. So instead, a commoner boy was raised alongside the prince from childhood and punished in his place whenever the prince misbehaved. The twist, the closeness this created often made whipping boys genuinely influential later in life, since they'd grown up as the king's closest childhood companion. Job number 2, rat catcher, Victorian England. Not just pest control, Victorian rat catchers were part of an entire underground economy. Captured rats were sold for rat-baiting entertainment pits, kept as prized fancy rats, yes, the origin of pet rats, or sold to researchers. Jack Black, the official rat catcher to Queen Victoria, is credited by some historians as the father of the modern pet rat. Job number 1, human alarm clock, knocker-up, industrial Britain. Before alarm clocks were affordable, factory workers paid a knocker-up to walk the streets before dawn, tapping on windows with a long pole to wake them for their shift. Some knocker-ups even used pea shooters to hit windows precisely. The job only died out once alarm clocks became cheap enough for every household. One of the last human jobs replaced almost entirely by a $2 machine. From urine tycoons to human alarm clocks, ancient and pre-modern societies ran on jobs we'd never imagine today. And the wildest part, every single one of these existed because it solved a real problem, before technology caught up. If you want part 2, including the ancient job that could get you executed just for doing it wrong? Let me know in the comments.